Cato could not walk at this point. He was pretty non-responsive. His muscles were twitching, and he was profusely drooling. His heart rate was very, very rapid, and his respiration rate was very rapid.
With all these symptoms, Dr. Kiesler suspects Cato has eaten something he shouldn't have.
Well, toxin was the first thing on my list. Cato had been a young, healthy, active dog, and I felt that that meant he probably had gotten into something.
Terry rushes home to try and find what he ingested. But Cato's condition worsens. Whatever toxin Cato ingested is starting to reach his brain, causing seizures.
Well, with a seizure, what this is sudden onset of excessive electrical activity of the brain. And what happens to the body is the muscles will start flexing and extending very quickly. The heart starts rapidly beating. And if this continues for a long period of time, the body can overheat. The brain is not functioning properly, and they can die from this.
She gives Cato an injection of Valium to keep the seizures at bay. And with the clock ticking, Terry continues to search for what her dog could have gotten into.
The whole situation was a whole panic from the time I got home. I just was running through, rooms. That's when I saw the medicine bottles.
All she could see on the bottle was the first letter B. So I called a friend that was a human pharmacist, and she said, "Is it baclofen?" Asked that. I called Terry. I said, "Call, find out. This could be what it is." And she quickly called back and said, yes, it was baclofen, and it was 10 milligram tablets, and that there were 30 in the bottle, and they were all gone.
Cato has eaten 300 milligrams of baclofen, a potentially lethal dose.
Baclofen causes CNS depression. CNS is your central nervous system. And your central nervous system and your brain controls everything. It tells your heart to beat, it tells you to breathe. And so what happens with CNS depression is you can't regulate your body temperature, and the respiration starts to drop. And eventually what happens with a lethal dose of baclofen is they die of respiratory arrest.
As Alex arrives to be with Cato, he's given a grim prognosis.
Dr. Mary then proceeded to tell me that there wasn't much hope for Cato. It was the lowest point I've ever been. I had my father on his deathbed, my dog dying.
Dr. Kiesler places a call with Animal Poison Control.
What they recommended is that we find this lipid substance called interlipid, and that we could give Cato IV so that it would hopefully absorb the drug and prevent it from going into the central nervous system.
Intralipid is a human drug found at human hospitals.
What this does is actually helps bind the baclofen that's in the blood system, and as long as the baclofen is bound, it cannot go into the central nervous system.
So Dr. Kiesler and her staff begin calling all the medical facilities, but one by one, they're told the drug is not available.
No one had any that we could get. So at this point, I had to go back and tell the owners that although there was a product that might help Cato, we currently could not get this for them. And that was very devastating to them.
Finally, they catch a break.
Lexington Medical Center was on the phone, and they had some interlipid infusion, and that they would be willing to give that to us.
Honestly, it was just a feeling of relief that just came over me.
But there's no guarantee that a human drug will work on a dog. If the drug's going to save Cato, it will start working within the next 36 to 48 hours. Cato will need to be watched around the clock, so Dr. Kiesler transfers him to a 24-hour emergency hospital.
I told Alex that it was up to Cato now.